accept where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying?
There's a little bit of oversimplification going on here in this reaction to saying that BJJ is totally useless. There's no style that's completely useless. He's right about some of his criticisms, and he's wrong in some of his criticism too. Two things can be true at the same time. So I'm just going to react and analyze the Tate on BJJ street fighting short that I'm sure is going to be wildly popular on YouTube. Let's take it bit by bit.
You could take the best BJJ guy in the world, put him against two normal men to have a street fight, and he'd struggle. He can't use what he knows because the other guy's just going to start hitting him.
You could say that about any style. It is hard to fight more than one person in whatever you study. That's why people use numbers. That's why people jump other people, because it's hard to fight more than one person. I don't care who you are or what you've trained in. Now, of course, grappling tends to work better against one person because you're just focused on that one person. That's what I think it's pretty much designed for. But that does not mean that you cannot use grappling against more than one person. You absolutely can. And if you're wondering what do I know about grappling, because my channel handle is Cecil Taekwondo, I also have a judo background. I also have a judo black belt, in addition to my Taekwondo and Kyusho and Hapkido rankings. I have grappled against more than one person before. It can be done, people. It can be done. It's just that in class, you tend to train for one-on-one because competition is usually one-on-one. But don't think that if somebody severely outskills two people and they're in excellent shape, that they're not going to be able to grapple against two people. It can and does happen. Believe me or not.
BJJ is absolutely useless outside of the cage.
No, it's not. No martial art is absolutely useless outside of the cage, outside of competition. No. I tell you when's a good time for you to know some grappling. What if you're being attacked by someone that for some reason, as hard as they're trying to beat the mess out of you, you're not allowed to hit them. You're not allowed to hit them. Hey, school teacher, attacked by a middle school student. Hey, large man, attacked by a smaller person whose biology makes it so that they're not going to have your physical strength. But if you stood there and let that person hit you, they could put you in the hospital or worse, in the ground, if you were to just stand there and be a punching bag. Hey, parent attacked by your child. Hey, person in a relationship attacked by another person in your relationship that you don't want to hurt. Hey, how about all, hey, security. Hey, security. Hey, oh my goodness, I'm at a cookout. Someone's going off. We got to stop this person, but I don't want to, kick them in their head or punch them and knock the tooth out of their mouth, or they're already almost about to die. I don't want to kill grandpa, even though grandpa's being violent. Those are all great things where if you were to pin someone with control, might help save some lives and stop other people from being hurt.
It's useless on the street. You can't do a double leg takedown on concrete. You're gonna.
You could do a double leg takedown on concrete if you're wearing pants and if you have a high pain tolerance. So that's not necessarily true. If you're looking at where the guy is here, he's on his knee. I've seen people fight on their knees on the street. It's risky. Any move is risky. There's risk in life. But you could do a double leg takedown on concrete. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can, and people do stuff like that.
Even if you do take him down to the ground, many submissions don't work if he can bite, or if he can scratch your eyes, or if he can pull a knife. You don't.
Now that's true. Many submissions do assume that the other person can't bite or scratch you, and they assume that the other person doesn't have a weapon. Or, like what he's going to talk about next, they don't have friends around. That's why what you need to do if you're using some of these submissions, like the basic judo pin kesagatami, I modify that so that I teach them how to control the other arm so they can't hit you with the free hand. And I tell them what to do to put even more pain on it. I'm not giving that out on YouTube for free. You want to know it? Sign up for the class. And I do warn them that if somebody is flexible enough, while you're holding them down, they could kick at a diagonal and kick you in your head while they're pinning you, if they've got that kind of flexibility. Most people don't, though, so it would still work against like 99% of the population.
You don't know if he has friends. You're going to take him to the ground, put him in an arm bar, and his friend's going to fucking kick you in the head or curb stomp you, and you're going to die. Yeah. Right?
Yes. Now, he's right about that. If you're focused on one person and you got him down on the ground, somebody else could come along and kick you in the face, kick you in the head. That can happen. That still doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn how to do any type of grappling, though, or, if you're doing BJJ, you should learn how to do it. Because if you're in a situation where that's not the case and you need to protect yourself from hurting somebody else, use a holding technique.
Number one rule of street fighting is stay on your feet. Yes. You might need to run. You probably should run. Especially you hit a dude and he goes, run. You know, he might get up and draw.
That is good. That's good advice. Number one rule of street fighting should be to stay on your feet. Actually, I'll take you a zero rule, step zero that comes before number one. Rule for street fighting. The step zero rule for street fighting should be to never get in them in the first place if you absolutely can help not being in them. You shouldn't be in street fights. Don't get into those because you can't control how they're going to go. And in some places, it might be considered a crime to be fighting in public. You ever think about that?
Well, what are you standing around for, right? Mm-hmm. So rolling around on the floor with some dude is amateur hour. And all these Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys, every time I say this, like, no, BJJ, BJJ. You're a bunch of dorks. It's useless. You could take the best BJJ guy in the world, put him against two normal men to have a street fight, and he'd struggle. He can't use what he knows, because the other guy's just going to start hitting him. BJJ is absolute.
So, we pretty much come through the loop with this thing, and I've said all I've had to say. He's got some good critiques. So let's Jeet Kune Do it, everybody that loves Bruce Lee, right? You like Bruce Lee? Let's take the Bruce Lee approach. Take what is useful from what he said and disregard the rest. What's useful is keep in mind when you're practicing these techniques that somebody could bite you, somebody could scratch you, somebody might try to stab you. So modify your pins sometimes so that you're taking those type of things into account. Or if you can do this safely, I try not to do this with children because children are unpredictable. But if you're with a more mature, reserved group of people, introduce a weapon. Now, that's something I did used to do with kids prior to the pandemic. Once I could trust the kids, and I would tell them this ahead of time. They may be doing some groundwork, and then I say, okay, I give one of them. And I didn't give them even a simulator knife. I'd give them a plastic water bottle and have them use the broad side to stab with so that it really reduces the chance of them hurting it. So let me get this real quick. So I can spell all this out. It would be empty. It wouldn't have water in it because that could hurt them. So just imagine it's empty. The broad part would be what will be used as the blade. Okay, and it was empty, and I made sure it wasn't sharp. I say, okay, they're going to have that. Or I'd have them put it in a uniform, they're wrestling, and then I have them take it out and like see what you do then. And there was no right or wrong per se. I didn't try to shame them. To say, just trying to teach you to use the unexpected. But one thing I used to do, especially doing one-step sparring. So this is back towards Taekwondo. This was kind of fun, right? Saying, okay, you want to get in a fight with someone? Let's pretend you're defending. We're going to pretend that you're defending against someone who has a relative near there. Okay. And when they're doing their one step, so let me get into the rhythm of that. And then I tell the other person, just jump on their back and just start yelling. And of course, they love that jump on the back. I'm like, okay, now you got this person on your back and now you're still trying to do your one-step routine. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, usually the person that I did that with, they were at least intermediate level and above. So they already had some fundamentals down before I introduced the wild variables. But that's the type of stuff you can do to plant those seeds in the mind of dealing with more than one person. It can be done. Don't assume that just because somebody on the internet, hey, even me, don't assume that just because somebody on the internet says it's bad, it's useless, it's this or that it is. Because no, it's not. It's not. Martial arts and combat sports have their time and place. Heck, even GUNSs don't always work all the time either. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with people like talk about the martial arts and peace. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.